And we are live. What's up, guys? Welcome to part 2 of Money Mondays. We're here with Derek Moneyberg, and we're here with Brandon Carter, man. We got to talk about quite a few things here concerning the stock market, crypto, etc. We're going to help you guys out. Let's get into it.
Let's go.
All right, hope you guys like that new intro. Welcome to part 2 of the Money Monday episode, man. We're here with Brandon Carter and Derek Moneyberg, as you guys know, long-time support guests on the show. So, guys, we're going to get right into it, man. We got a lot to cover today. We're going to be covering, and then we got a show with the girls, so we got a three-peat for y'all. So, real quick, man, we know who you are. Can you guys introduce yourself to the people real quick, and then we'll get into today's topic?
Hey, Derek Moneyberg. Check it out on YouTube or on Instagram. Do a lot of interviews with other winners, with successful business people, with a lot of champion fighters. And my clients come to me. They want help. They want to understand business and a few different types of business: entrepreneurship, real estate, and the stock market. So happy to help those that are serious, but can't help somebody that don't want to help themselves.
All right. And then no stranger to the show.
You know what it is? My name is Brandon Carter. You know, I got a YouTube channel as well. We talk about getting muscle, getting money, and building mindset. Money, muscle, and mindset. Yep. You know, and it's always a pleasure to be here with the Fresh and Fit crew, man.
Oh, man. Happy
you came with a suit today.
Yeah. He's making us all look like shit, goddammit. You know, nice fit suit.
Iced out AP, nice ring. Damn, bro. I turned 40 not long ago, so it's like, you know what? I need to start dressing like an adult. You know what I'm saying? Okay.
Can't wear sweatpants every day.
Not every day.
Shit.
Only on Sundays.
That's. I need to switch my shit up, I guess. I hit these chats real quick. All right, so we got Josh Nixon. Like the video, ninjas. Can you guys put on the mask for After Hours? I want to see Myron kick fresh. Okay, maybe for another show.
No, for my nuts,
appreciate
bro.
that, my friend.
That's crazy.
And we already got almost 1,000 y'all in here, guys. I know you guys weren't expecting like a three-peat in this case.
We got you. Three of them.
So I guess I'll go right into the topic. So guys, as you guys know, right, since what I would say, it's been almost a year now at this point. The stock market's been tumbling. You know, the Fed has been raising interest rates. You know, it's not free to borrow money anymore. It's been going up, a bunch of basis points every single time the Fed does a meeting. And that's affected the market significantly. I mean, for someone, I guess, and Derek, you're really into the market and you invest quite a bit yourself. Can you kind of explain to the people what's going on in layman's terms and how they should adapt to it?
Yeah, I mean, you have to walk back a little bit before the past 12 months, and I agree with everything you said. It's 100% correct. But where the reason they have to start raising those interest rates are because of all the money printing that went on, through 2020, even early 2021, is new money from the Fed, new money from Congress, and so all these stimulus packages, all the expansion of the Federal Reserve balance sheet. And there's about 40% of the money that's in existence right now was printed during that time.
That's a fact.
And when you have a world where there's scarce resources, there's a fixed amount of resources in general, and in fact they reduce those resources in the sense of a lot of people weren't working. There's a lot of production that would normally happen wasn't happening because of lockdowns and restrictions in businesses. So you have less goods and services in the economy, and you have more money in the economy. And the 40% money printing would suggest you'd have about prices would go up about 40%. It's going to be even worse than that because of the less supply of goods because of the labor force not fully participating. So those things lead into significant inflation. That the real inflation rates are 16-17%. The consumer price index, where that they use as the official inflation rate. If you look at the way that they've distorted that over since the 70s till today, it's two totally separate things. It doesn't even resemble what they say is the same thing over time. It's not. That's not reality.
I mean, the White House tried to put out that we weren't in a recession a couple months back.
I've been in a recession since 2020. You've been in a by the even by their numbers with consumer price index, we've been in a recession for the at least the last 2 quarters. And if you look at the real inflation instead of the fake inflation numbers they publish in consumer price index, you've been in a recession since March of 2020.
Yeah.
So to answer the specific of your question is they have to raise those interest rates, or if not, the problem keeps exacerbating. That if labor goes up and then cost of goods goes up and then labor goes up and then cost of goods, and that you have higher and higher inflation, and it causes more problems in the future if you don't tone that down now.
Of course.
So when they raise the interest rates, then mortgage rates go up significantly.
Yep.
There's several interest rate hikes. I believe there were 75 basis points, or 0.75%, and yeah, I mean, they're probably going to raise it a bit more. They have signaled that they might back off of the 0.75%, and that might be 0.5% and then a quarter or quarter. Who knows? They're probably going to have to raise it a bit more. They're finally starting to get inflation to go down a bit. It's still high, but it's accelerating less high than it was in the past. But the good news is there's a lot of high quality assets in the stock market that are in a lot better position than they were, say, in 2020. The companies are a lot more stable, earnings are a lot more stable, and they're on sale again. The whole stock market sold off, 30-ish%.
Can you list like 2 of them? Like 2 that are your best picks right now, you think?
I love, and I'm, you can't buy something if you can't do the due diligence, and I'm not saying this disrespectfully, I'm saying it very politely and very sincerely. It's like a person shouldn't buy something if they don't understand it.
Yeah.
Right.
If they don't understand it, they shouldn't buy that asset. Some things that I like, I love commercial real estate, mostly malls. I love the Class A shopping malls. I was buying Macerich, ticker symbol MAC. I was buying Simon Property Group, ticker symbol SPG. And even 7 weeks ago, back in September, I was buying both of those companies, and Macerich is up over 70% in 6-7 weeks. And Simon Property Group's up from I was paying $86 and went up to 121 recently. I think it's 117 at the moment.
So
Nice.
so for the audience to understand, because with real estate, there's always classes to things like that. When you say a Class A shopping mall, right? Are we talking about the Louis Vuitton,
That's exactly right.
the highest end, like a Brickell City Center, which is down the street from here, right? Like it has only luxury, the top end stores, not necessarily like a strip mall that has like, I don't know, name a ghetto ass store.
Zara, or like Journeys.
I don't fucking know.
It's not even Brickell Center. It's like they own like what's the mall in Vegas with the Louis Vuitton store and the Gucci store, like those kind of malls. Because Brickell City Center doesn't have those stores. It's like the top echelon malls.
Stuff that you have to go into person to purchase it typically versus like being able to Amazon shop it to yourself where like a mid-tier or lower tier brand. So I think that's the most important thing is Class A.
Because the people who get hit the hardest are the poor and the middle class. The rich people, like, we still balling, right? So we still buying shit. So those malls ended up doing like really well.
Okay.
Y'all remember I was on here a few months ago and I said we're about to enter a recession.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You called it.
Come on, man. I gave y'all some picks. I told you I had $300,000 on SDS, which is a double leverage short on the market. You know what I'm saying? You see how that panned out for you, boy. You know what I'm saying? I had to wear suits with all that
today.
Yeah, man. Custom. You can't buy shit like this off the rack for a nigga like me.
Which, well, I guess kind of proves a point. You bought that, I'm assuming, probably at a Class A mall and or some kind of luxury service where you have to go in to get that type of stuff, right? Like a brick and mortar business where they're giving a very particular type of thing. Like,
you can't get fitted for a custom suit.
Exactly.
On the internet, man. You can't go to Amazon for this shit.
People don't buy the Rolex and Cartier and AP. They don't buy those things off the internet. You go to the store, you look at it, you try it on, you ask 3 people what they think of it, you think about what you think about it. So exactly what you're saying. Stores like Cartier, Tiffany's, all the high luxury brands. People tend to at least shop those things in person.
Yes.
Maybe they buy it somewhere later, but they're still going there. And there's something called omni-channel retailing. So say a store like Lululemon is probably a good example where Lululemon might do 80% of its sales might be online, but without the brick and mortar location, nobody would buy the stuff online. They can buy it online now because they went to the brick and mortar location. They tried on the thing. They like the way it looked. They like the smell of the store. They like the feel of the store. And now they know their size and their style. Then so again, 80% of the sales might happen on the internet, but it wouldn't be happening if they didn't have the physical location to go there and check it out to begin with.
Okay, so that's like the foundation.
And that's called an omni location.
They call it omni-channel retailing, meaning omni just multiple, so meaning online and in person.
Because I can think of a couple brands in my head right now that kind of fit into that category, where like you can buy a majority of their stuff online. However, they do have stores located in certain specific locations that have a certain socioeconomic status. Like one brand that comes to mind is Patagonia, very similar to Lululemon, but like for like people that wear Patagonia are typically going to also wear Lululemon, right? Very bougie. I used to live in Boston for a while, so I remember that stuff. Yeah, but no, that's I never actually knew what the term was for stores like that, but I could think of a couple already off the top of my head like that. REI, right? Another one, which would probably fall into that. So I like that distinction that like you have to understand what you're investing in, and that takes a deep understanding, because like if you look at it from like a commercial sense, right? Because like, you know, me and you are both in real estate. We both know, you know, commercial real estate to some degree has suffered a bit because office space isn't as popular. People are working from home, etc. So a lot of people are like, oh, commercial real estate is scary. I don't know if I want to get into that. However, what are you doing? You're hedging against it because you understand, all right, well, I know that luxury brands, people still go in to buy that stuff. I understand the market. I'm investing in class A malls versus like a class B or class C that has, you know, lower end stuff.
Class A means it's not like, doesn't mean the mall looks pretty necessarily. So what we're saying is correct, or what you're saying about, you know, it is generally higher brands.
Yeah.
But, you know, Queen Center or something like that in New York is like, it's not the prettiest mall. The floor is a little sticky. It's a little dirty, but damn, do they do sales? So Class A means that, you know, I believe it's over $700 per square foot. That every square foot is doing over $700 in annual sales. So it's not it doesn't mean it looks pretty. That's not the definition. They do tend to look pretty. They do tend to be in nice locations, or at least heavily populated locations, and they do tend to have the higher end brands, like we're saying, you know, or they're in a very highly populated, you know, an urban area with a lot of traffic. But the definition itself is based on the
sale per square foot.
Exactly.
Okay. It just so happens that it's more luxury brands fit into that, but there could be a strip mall that is lower class, but it just does so much goddamn revenue by so much foot traffic that they make the money as well.
Yeah, those companies don't tend to own strip malls, but your theory, I'm with you.
It's based on square footage versus, okay, I learned something new right there. So I didn't know.
We spoke earlier a little bit, and we spoke about crypto. And there's a current buzz about FTX Arena and them still having to lose the name of the arena. Can you kind of break down?
Bang Bros trying to buy it or something?
Exactly, that's hilarious, bro.
Yeah, what the hell?
Can you kind of break down what happened, you know, in that, I guess, situation, Derek, if you don't mind?
I mean, obviously, I don't know the inside details more than anybody else does. I have no involvement in that company, but my understanding of it is they're saying there's $1 billion that's missing. That's what I'm seeing on the internet. That you're talking about.
$1 billion in the Bahamas. Oh. Dude skipped off to the Bahamas.
Whoa.
Yeah. You know, it's why I like boring things. I've talked about this on your show
missing
before.
From where exactly?
You're talking about the crypto exchange.
Oh, from FTX. Okay.
From that crypto exchange, there's $1 billion unaccounted for in their books. That's what I'm seeing online. That's what people are saying.
Binance was going to bail them out, but they looked at their accounting and they was like, nah, we ain't fucking with this.
Damn.
We're not fucking with this.
They're just like,
nope. They went to get another company. They went to a venture firm asking for money. And I don't know the man's name. He's very smart, appears to be an Indian man, very smart guy. I've seen him on the business channels in the past. And he's saying that they're going through, they're asking him for money. And he's like, well, we need, this and this and this and this to do their due diligence to consider doing something with them. And he said they literally told him, nah, fuck you. They were like very rudely, like literally told him that. He says, so he was very concerned about it. They have no board. He asked for things like you'd have to form a board of directors. Yeah. You'd have to have some, auditing and accounting, and they weren't having it. So, I mean, it doesn't look good. I don't know the details of what happened there, but it certainly doesn't look good. And it's why I like to buy boring things. I've talked about it on your show before. I'm not a trendy guy. I like to buy boring things like real estate, like infrastructure, oil and gas pipelines, electrical infrastructure. I think to myself, if people have been doing it a long time in the past, they're probably going to keep doing it.
Right. Yep.
And then when you have economic situations like we have, where you have significant downturns, like 2020 is like a dream. I've been waiting for 10 years for something like that to happen. Yeah. And then now we're having another good downturn. Over the summer there's a lot of good sales, and there's still a lot of good sales. But do you think it's going to remain popular to heat your home in the winter?
Yeah, I mean, they have to.
They buy oil and gas pipelines.
They're gonna die.
Yeah. If you don't heat your home, your children are going to freeze.
Yeah.
And if you do heat your home, Derek Moneyberg gets paid.
Yeah.
If do you think it's going to remain popular for women to go shopping in the future? Do you think they'd like to go shopping in a place that's like safe, clean, secure, Other pretty women are there.
It's Class
nice
A malls,
things.
baby.
Class A malls.
Makes sense.
So, you know, if you, do you think that men will want to gamble in the future? So when casinos are on sale, I'll buy casinos. Do you think that alcohol might remain popular in the future?
That's a yes.
Never run out of steam.
I wonder if alcohol prices go up as the economy gets worse. I would imagine probably yes, or it doesn't deviate down, or
Funny thing. No, I bought a company. I bought Budweiser. Everybody knows the beer company Budweiser. So when their stock was really in the toilet, it was about $40, $41. I spent about like 20,000 shares of Budweiser.
How long ago was this?
This is 2020.
I remember.
Okay.
And
I bought a lot of Budweiser too.
You know what I learned?
Yeah.
You know what I learned about that is I thought to myself, good economy, people drink. Bad economy, maybe they drink more.
Yeah.
All right. But what happens is they drink hard liquor. So I didn't know that at the time.
Yeah.
But that's a useful tidbit for you folks for the future. That what happens when people get depressed, beer seems to be a social thing. That you drink beer at a restaurant, you drink beer at a sporting event or a concert. But when the people get depressed and they're locked up at home, they drink hard liquor. So next time I'm buying liquor brands instead of I'm buying hard liquor instead of beer or wine. So I learned my lesson.
Yeah.
I made money with the Budweiser, but I could have made a lot more if I would have bought Constellation brands or something.
Okay.
Oh, that's hilarious. But that makes sense though, because it's like, I just need to get lit right now. Like, fuck this shit. And Budweiser is heavy too. It's like you drink one, you're like, oh God, you know what I mean? That's why Bud Light is so popular. But anyway, anything I got to read here, Chris? Okay, we got here. Christian Meza, shout out to Brandon Carter. I've been doing your ab workouts and I see real results. Thank you so much for the knowledge.
Fantastic, brother.
Freshman CEO Jordan's set for life giveaway.
Yes,
cool.
this week.
What do you think about REITs? This is from Jeff White. I'll pose that one to you, Derek. What's your thoughts on REITs?
Those two companies I mentioned, REIT stands for Real Estate Investment Trust. So that's like a real estate portfolio that is essentially traded like a stock. I can say that generically. It's a separate entity. And to have REIT status, then you have to pay out 90%. The company has to pay out 90% of their taxable earnings has to go to investors. So when you buy REITs, you tend to end up with a company that pays a large distribution or a dividend back to investors. So they're legally required to do that to not have the double taxation tax status like a C corporation would have. And there's a lot of different types of REITs. There could be cell phone towers or REITs. There can be, so conglomerate of cell phone towers like American Tower. Shopping centers that I mentioned are REITs. There's some that are commercial office space. There's some that are residential rentals. So there's a lot of different types of REITs. Some of them are cooling centers for like computer servers, and they have REITs that are that. So there's a lot of different types. But what a REIT means is Real Estate Investment Trust, and that specific entity. They don't have to have double taxation the way that a C corporation, the way that most publicly traded companies would have, but to have that pass-through taxation privilege, they're required to pay out 90% of their taxable earnings, to the shareholders, and the shareholders pay it at ordinary income rates instead of, the discounted 20% tax rates for long-term capital gains rates. So I like REITs in general. There's nothing magical about them. So if you want something that pays out a good dividend, if the company's making money,
they pay some of the best dividends. They pay by far some of the best dividends are from REITs, guys.
Yeah, Simon's paying 7%. The one that I mentioned is paying 7%.
Okay.
In this economy, that's nice. It helps you keep up with inflation.
That's pretty damn good.
Than a bank.
Yeah, it's way better than a bank.
Way better than a bank.
So going back to the original question. So Fresh asked you like what you were in. So you so Class A malls. Any other ones that you're in as well?
I own some oil and gas companies. There's company. If you ask for specific stocks, I'll mention Energy Transfer. I think. Energy Transfer has about 115,000 miles of oil and gas pipelines. So that's the one that came to mind with me when you say when I said, do you think it'll be popular to heat your home? Well, then that company has to make money. Yep. And they just raised their dividend again. When I bought that stuff for under $8 and have hundreds of thousands of shares. I bought it for under $8. Right now it's 12 something, and the dividend is fat. I'm making over 10% just on the dividend distribution. Now, don't buy a small. Be careful with this. Again, don't buy anything you don't understand. But Energy Transfer is a MLP, a Master Limited Partnership, which means it doesn't trade like a normal stock. It's not a C corp. It's a MLP, which means you own part of the company. You're like investing.
Okay.
Which that means you get a K1 statement for your taxes.
Bam.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. If you want exposure to that or some other energy stocks, you can buy. If you want to be boring, you can buy XLE.
Yes,
which is like
ETF.
which is ETF of energy companies. And y'all remember I was on here not long ago, and I said that's one of my recommendations. Anyone who took that made a lot of bank.
So I've heard that if you get an energy saving type of like, I guess, asset or stock, you can write off your taxes. Is that true or not? Like for energy?
There might be something for some of the renewable energy. There might be some additional, tax benefit like that. I'm not aware of, but so there might be something, for windmills or solar or something like that.
Okay.
You guys mentioned energy is kind of hot right now. Would you say that the conflict with Russia and Ukraine right now is a part of that? We understand. Obviously, we know Russia is a big exporter of, they call it the gas station essentially, right?
Yeah.
They get a lot of natural resources, especially with heating homes, etc. Did that play into you guys being able to make more money with the volatility over there in Europe?
A lot, because natural gas prices have gone up to, the normal person's power bill in Europe is up 4x in some places, and 10x in some places.
You know a girl.
I know a girl from Spain. She told me that her energy bill was like, $100, whatever. It went up to like $400.
Yeah, because Russia supplies a huge amount of energy to Europe.
Yeah.
Like a huge amount, like a crazy amount.
Yeah.
And, that's been they haven't been able to do so.
Yeah, to the same level.
The main vehicle that passes through, to expand on Brandon's point, which is important to know that the main vehicle that passes through is called the Nord pipeline and the Nord 2 pipeline, and the pipeline's been damaged now.
Yes.
And
they got attacked like a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah, month or so, 2 months,
on
3 months
purpose.
maybe. It sure seems that way. So, and that means that they're taking that my natural gas is getting put on boats and shipped to Europe, and which is why the taxes are up, or the prices are up rather. That they're shipping the stuff from North America and other places into Europe now, because now the main vehicle where it was transported,
it was by train before,
damaged.
right?
It was a pipeline.
It was like, was the pipeline conducted via train, or was it
so it's a large pipe. Think like a plumbing pipe.
Oh, okay, all right.
So it's just a pipe that the stuff flows through the pipe, but the pipe has been damaged. They literally use a jet engine, which sounds crazy to me. So I don't know the physics of that, but some smart scientists figured out how to use literally like a jet engine to push the gas through the pipeline to get the volume that they need to flow through the pipeline.
Okay.
So it's really quite an impressive system.
Yeah.
But it's also not something that you just throw it back together when it's damaged, and it's damaged.
And the reason I say that is because I know Russia has probably one of the most sophisticated and extensive railroad systems in the world. Since the country's so big, to get things around, especially with military equipment, especially for this conflict, they have a very intricate railroad system to get things all over the place. So I wasn't sure if they were like shipping the gas and the natural resource that way too, but that would make more sense versus like using trains to push all that stuff across. So, and then there was something that we were discussing a little bit ago with, as far as like money that was being used for.
Oh yeah. Behind
go
the
ahead. You
scenes?
want to go ahead, Fresh?
I mean, if you want to see on camera, you can, to everyone. It might be a little bit conspiracy driven, but we had some maybe like sources saying that it might be money from Russia, Ukraine being pushed into FTX.
What I've seen about FTX, I don't know if this is true.
Right.
I don't know if it's true, but what I've seen on the internet about FTX is there's some people saying that the mother of the young man that founded that company, the main guy that you see, Sam, whatever his name is,
his mom.
Yeah, his mother did a lot of fundraising for political parties, and coincidentally, she was raising a lot of money for the Democrat Party, and she's somehow tied to Joe Biden. Again, I don't know if I'm not a political person. I got to make money. Whoever's president, whoever's in Congress,
doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it's my job to make money no matter what happens. And you know what? It's easier to make money when there's volatility than if everything's calm and stable. Okay, so I'm not a political person. I'm not making a political statement. But what I'm seeing on the internet, they're suggesting that that Biden and the U.S. government sent a lot of this money to Ukraine. That's a fact. Everybody knows that. Yeah. And they're saying that a lot of that money then got pushed back into this young guy's company. And then he's supposedly the second biggest donor behind George Soros. He's donating large amounts of money back to the Democrat Party, and apparently some to the Republican Party as well. So they're both voting to send money to Ukraine, and then the Ukraine money is going to him, and then he's giving it back to the politicians that voted to just send it to Ukraine. That's what people are speculating on the internet.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's true.
If
but
it's true,
I don't see why Binance doesn't want to buy FTX. Then possibly, if that's the situation,
I don't like to buy trendy things for this reason.
Right.
People lose money that way. They're saying there's over $1 billion missing that's unaccounted for.
$1 billion. That's crazy though.
You know, it's like last time my fault, man.
No, you could.
Like last time I was here, or every time I've been this year, I was like, listen, I sold all my crypto.
Yeah.
So I kept saying it. I kept saying it over and over again. And
did you tell us why? What influenced you to do it?
Because I knew we were headed into a recession. This was before it was like official. Yeah. And you know, traditionally, Moneyberg can expand on this more. But traditionally, when there's when interest rates get higher, I knew they were going to go. They had to go higher because of the inflation. Traditionally, when interest rates go higher, the riskiest assets, the more speculative stuff, start to drop in value, right? Because that's when people start to liquidate immediately.
You get scared, you get nervous.
It's the easiest to sell off.
Right. So. And crypto is they haven't figured out the best utility for the blockchain technology yet. You know, we're still a ways away from that for its mainstream. So right now it's pretty speculative, you know, and I just, you know, I knowing what I knew about it, I feel like, okay, this is going to go way down. And you see how that was. I bought Bitcoin at like 18, sold at the top of January.
You were buying Bitcoin for 1,800?
Yeah.
God damn. So you must have been buying it. Bro, you were buying Bitcoin back in what, like 2012?
Yeah, man. You know, when Ty Lopez
you were buying Bitcoin fucking damn near a decade ago.
And then when it crossed, like right before it crossed 20,000, I bought a bunch and then sold everything in January, so y'all can do that math, you know. And I urged you guys to do the same. Hopefully, y'all
couple BTC. So you probably made out really well. You sold that 20K or like what was your selling? If you remember,
I don't remember about exactly. I'd have to look on my phone.
It was high,
you know what I'm saying? But it was January, right? So
okay.
So look, your name is no longer Brand. It's Professor X.
Prophecies.
I like it.
Literally.
You know, and then. But you know, the thing about crypto is something that I learned from Moneyberg, right? The thing about crypto is you can't do what this tactic I learned from Moneyberg was when you have stocks, you can sell covered calls against them for income. Okay. You can't really do that with crypto unless you buy one of the crypto ETFs.
Can you tell people what a covered call is?
Yeah. So let's say I have 100 shares of a certain stock.
Okay.
Right.
Say Apple.
Perfect. Right. You know, and I could sell covered calls against it, meaning basically I can say, hey, I want to sell it. I'm willing to sell it at X price that's way above
105 versus it's worth 100.
Let's keep
it easy numbers, right? Yeah.
You know, I try to pick a number that I don't think it's gonna hit so I can retain assets. Now what happens is I get paid a premium for that, right? Because I'm selling it, not buying it. Right. You know, when someone buys an option, what happens is they buy it with money. That premium comes to me when I'm selling it. And anyone can do that. You know, you can do that on Robinhood. You know, anyone can do that. And what I do, and if it doesn't hit 105 in your example, I keep the premium and I keep the stock. If it sells at 105 in your example, then I lose the stock, but I sold it at the price that I wanted to sell it for, right? I think of it like a stop loss, right? But I still keep the premium. So I'm making money off my stocks all the time. I do that every Monday.
So
that's a weekly call.
What is that? Because again, this is one thing for me that I'm not versed in with the stock market. Like I'm big. If I am in the stock market, it's index funds. You guys already know I'm big into real estate.
Simple to the point.
And with cryptocurrency, I keep it Ethereum and Bitcoin pretty much.
You guys should all look into it. You should learn more. Like I learned it from Moneyberg. Right. You know what I'm saying? He's got stuff and a lot of resources. Links in the description. You can learn more about this and way more other
10 Commandments of Wealth. He talks about this extensively.
But I was making so much money off selling covered calls, right? Basically, I was getting these premiums, and that's how I bought my watch. I bought this watch. I was trying to be like Fresh, man. Fresh was outdoing me every time. So I bought this iced out AP, and you know, because these are aftermarket diamonds, it's like not an investment. This is something for fun. You know, it's just like for fun for me. You know, I bought it with passive income from the covered calls, earned income, and I didn't even have to sell. I didn't have to sell my stocks. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So this tactic is called covered.
Selling is covered calls. Selling covered calls, right? But I also if it's a stock I want to buy, let's say I wanted to get more of that Macerich or that Simon property that Derek was talking about. What I'll do is it's called a cash secure put. And Derek, if I'm not explaining this very well, please cut me off so I don't sound stupid. All right. Let's say the stock. Let's use Apple for example. Okay. Right. It's at $100
a share, right? And you have 100 of them. So
no, I don't have any. Right. Okay, maybe I do. It doesn't matter. Right.
Yeah.
What I say is, okay, I'm willing to buy it at 95, right? Okay. But I got to put up the cash as collateral, right? But I still get paid the premium. So if somebody buys a put, they're giving that money to me. You get what I'm saying? So like the people who are buying options are, a lot of times they're gambling, you know what I'm saying? But I'm the casino. You're the casino when you're selling covered calls or cash secure puts. Derek, did I explain that right? So what happens is if it hits 95, they take my money, right?
Okay.
But
Even though it's at 100.
No, if it goes to 95.
Okay.
Right. They take the money that I put up for it, but I still keep the premium that I was paid.
Okay.
To sell it, because I sold it, right? And
it's automatic.
Yeah, it happens automatically. But the cool thing is I would only do that on the stock that I wanted to buy at a price that I wanted to buy it for, right? So it's kind of difficult to lose unless it goes like way down, right?
Yeah.
So you want to be smart about it. But if it doesn't hit that price by whatever date I have, I get my money back and I keep the premium.
So basically, you're betting against your own stock.
You're basically selling an insurance policy. When you're saying selling puts, you're basically selling an insurance policy to someone else that if the stock goes below a certain price, they have the right to put it to you for the strike price that you agreed to on the date that it agreed to. So you have to have an expiration date and a strike price that are both agreed to and specified in the contract. And there's only 4 types of options contracts. So don't let this sound super complex. There's a lot of complex things and combinations and permutations that you can do with those 4 things, but either buying or selling calls or you're buying or selling puts. So there's only 4 permutations of outcome here. And what Brandon was just discussing of selling puts, you're basically selling an insurance policy that you're collecting on a premium now. And if the stock goes down, the person who bought that contract that paid for those puts, he has the right to put the shares to you at the agreed upon price.
It's called, we can execute
within the specified time.
This is very interesting. So you're almost acting, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I have a very rough grasp of this, but I'm learning, man. And guys, fucking like the video, because you're not going to get stuff like this in school. They definitely ain't going to teach you this in college.
No,
right?
Even at grad school, they don't even teach these things properly at grad school. At the best MBA.
You went to one of the. I was going to say you went to one of the best MBA programs.
It was number 1 when I was there.
I got a degree from Howard University, man. I learned more. I really learned how to roll blunts.
In college.
That was the main thing I learned.
Yeah. So what it sounds like to me with these puts is essentially you're acting as I like your analogy with the insurance company. You're acting as an insurance company for other people that potentially want to buy this stock or commodity. And if it goes down a certain price, you're coming in and ensuring them the ability to buy it, which kind of, I guess, elevates the security of said commodity.
You get paid right now.
Yeah.
So when you sell the contract, you get paid right now.
Right now.
And if the stock goes up, or if the stock stays even, nothing happens. You get to keep that money. You get to keep 100% of that money. Nothing else happens. If the stock goes down below the strike price, then it'll automatically execute. You bought the shares for the price that you agreed to. You still get to keep the premium that you collected. It's like an insurance premium that you paid to an insurance company, So you get to keep that premium. But if the stock goes below a certain price, that's the only permutation where you can lose money. So that's what Brandon was saying is if you're selling something, if you're selling that put contract, you're collecting that money at a price to be like, hey, if you like a stock at $100, to use those numbers, say you like it at 100, you're thinking about buying it at 100. You go sell some puts at 95. So you get paid right now. Maybe you get paid $1 or $2 right now per share. But then if the stock went down to 90, if you liked it at 100, you're already thinking about buying it for 100. You wouldn't mind owning it at 95 if it went to 95. Be like, damn, I got to get this anyway.
It's a little bit of a hit.
I never buy stock right now.
Yeah.
I never buy like anymore. I almost never buy a stock. I if it's a stock I like, all right, I'll sell puts against it at a lower price. That way, if it goes down to the price that I want, I get the stock that I wanted, and I keep the premium, right? But if it doesn't go down, if it goes up, all right, cool. I missed up some of that upside, but I get my money back that I put up for collateral, and I keep the premium. So I don't. It's like it's difficult to lose.
Yeah.
Wow,
it's like so you're not just buying and holding. You're buying, and you have a strategy for said stock. With doing whether it's puts or what was the other tactic?
Covered calls.
Covered calls.
So when you sell a covered call, you have to own the stock.
Okay.
Right. If you're selling puts, you put up the cash for it. Right. So you got to have some bread either way. But I've been making like over 50 grand a month just selling calls and selling puts.
And the crazy thing
Wow.
is,
No
you
bullshit.
said it and you forget it, and it's just like
well,
it's.
I'm aggressive, right? So I'm
you're
doing
looking
it.
at it
I'm
every
doing
day.
it every week.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm selling weekly calls and weekly puts. Some people like to do monthly. Some people like to do different. I do it every week because I'm aggressive.
Yeah, no, and obviously with this level of sophistication which you're investing, you have to be involved to some degree to continue to maintain the profit. So
yeah.
I'll ask this real quick, just for the audience, right? Because a lot of people probably have never heard of this stuff before. Even myself as a real estate guy, I'm like, holy.
Yeah.
So can you give us one stock that you're doing this with, and like kind of where like the strategy as to, okay, I buy this stock because XYZ, I put a put against it or a covered a call on it, etc. Something like that. So they have a real.
I'll give you some, but if you guys really want to understand the concepts, right? Derek got a program. It's called the 10 Commandments of Wealth.
Yes.
The link's in the description. But I ain't
Click
even
the goddamn link.
I ain't even trying to plug it that bad. If you like, if any of this shit resonates with you and you want to get deeper on it, then like I learned it from Derek.
I didn't even know this shit either. I didn't know either.
So, for example, one that I've been doing, which one do I want to tell y'all about?
Yeah, that you feel comfortable disclosing. That's why I said like one that you feel okay.
I'll tell you the one I did it on. I tell you the one I did it
in
on.
the past. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it was Rocket Mortgage, right? Like
fuck those guys. They email me every day.
Yeah, so one of my boys who I get trading advice from, my man Romulus, was saying he was telling me that he was seeing insider trading, right, from the CEOs and like high level people in Rocket. They were buying like a crazy amount of shares, right?
In other companies? Or?
No, in Rocket.
Okay.
Because you can see the insiders trading.
Okay.
If you know where to look. And I was like, all right, if they buying it, they probably know something I don't know.
Yep.
Right. So I want to buy some, but instead of just buying it, I'm gonna do what Derek taught me, right? And sell cash secure puts against it, right? So I was selling puts for lower than the price that it was, and sometimes it was hitting it, right? Because it was as the market was falling.
Okay,
right?
So this is timeline of when you were doing this, so people kind of know.
Like the last few months.
Okay, this is recent. Okay,
that's why it's top
not
of
like
mind.
during COVID or something.
That was last few months, and
you were
it kept going down. It kept going down. I was putting up like 50 grand a week on that shit.
How much was a share at this point?
I'd have to look.
Okay,
right.
Don't sweat it.
I don't got that shit memorized. And I was making premium, but I kept buying it, so I was dollar cost averaging, but collecting premium as well.
Okay.
Right. So I was getting paid to buy it.
Double dipping.
I was getting paid to buy it because I was getting executed. And then it started going up, but I was still selling cash secure puts against it. I wasn't getting executed. So I was recycling the money I was using, and I was just getting premium every week. And that shit's like went way up since then. I'm not telling you to buy it now, right? Like I'm telling you what you need to do is really, if you listen to a lot of what Derek was saying, like he's telling you about motherfucking pipes in Russia that's getting bombed and shit. Yeah. and he figures out how to make money off of it. Like one thing I learned from Derek was how to like look at the actual macro economy and then how to use that information, right? And allocate that information towards the acquisition of capital, right? So that and there's a whole module on macro economics in the 10 Commandments of Wealth. You know what I'm saying? But it's like if you know that, then you can really make some real money. Because you can just look at what's happening around the world, and if you got half a brain, you'll be able to figure out what companies and industries are going to benefit from that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I have an uncle that lives up north, and every morning he turns on the news to watch what's happening in the world.
Yeah.
And that takes away he puts his money into in stocks. So for example, the whole war with Russia and Ukraine, same thing. Oil, gas, all that stuff.
Yeah, you can. If you knew that, if you can see it, then you can come up. Okay, Russia supplies like 60 to 80% of Europe's energy. All right, so energy prices are probably going to go higher, right? And that's exactly what fucking happened. I was thinking the same thing too, and me and Derek had conversations about it.
That's that money talk, man.
Yeah.
Smart.
And this is why so many people fail with investing in individual stocks, is because you have to know what you're doing. I mean, Derek said at the top of the show, he studies everything that he invests in. He knows it in and out, and he's pretty much mitigating risk. I mean, even with you had some information, you acted upon it. You're like, you knew what you were doing. You're like, all right, I'm going to buy this stock, but I have a strategy with it. And I think this is where it's very important for, and this is why most people fail with individual stocks.
Yeah. But notice, right? He didn't guess it. He had a trusted advisor that guided him along the path. He didn't say, oh, I'm just going to put in Apple. No, I trust Derek. Cool. He says put in this. That's why he did it.
Yeah.
So,
Literally hundreds of your viewers, literally hundreds when I was on here before, got that 10 Commandments Wealth program.
Yeah.
And I've been here twice before. I'm not here to pitch a program. We have a Black Friday special. If it's something you're serious about, take a look at it. Do yourself a favor, invest in more prosperity in your life.
Come on, man.
I also have upcoming, starting November 30th, my stock course starts again. We have a 10-week mentoring course. Come check it out.
Teach you strategies.
I'll put you on it.
Yeah.
Come as my guest. Come check it out.
Yeah.
Come check it out so you understand the details. Because every time we talk about real estate, you're buying more real estate. You're sharp about real estate. You understand real estate. You understand entrepreneurship. There's a trinity of wealth. There's three things. You got two of them already, man.
Yeah.
What would happen to your personal finances if you understood the stock market, properly at the same level that you understand real estate?
Oh yeah, it would explode.
Let me help you with that.
Yeah.
I don't want anything.
No,
come as my guest.
Yeah. All right. I might pull up, man,
Starts
because
November
this is
30th.
and here I think a very important thing that people need to realize is you need to know your weak points and surround yourself with people that can go ahead and help you fulfill being better at those weak points. I'm not a stock guy.
Yeah.
I don't invest in individual stocks. I got some Chewy for some LOLs because I know a lot of these chicks are about to be single. But but as far as I'm very traditional. I got index funds that that track the S&P 500 total market. Like yawn, no one gives it. That's boring shit. You get what 8-10% returns on that. Yeah. It's safe, but you ain't making fucking $50K a month, right?
Nope.
I saw in the chat
selling
somebody
puts and stuff like that.
Somebody
like
said
Brandon's
that Rocket was down. Nah, man, it's up 27% in the last week, brother. You know
what you talking about?
It's up 27% in the last week, man. Chill out. You know what I'm saying?
So,
shout out to Romulus and Weenie. I see my man Weenie over there.
That's why you need people in your corner that know what you don't. Sorry, go ahead.
To Fish's point a moment ago is that if you don't have good mentors, if you don't have somebody to show you how to do something, like you can't invent everything yourself in your lifetime, man. And I was training earlier today. I was at one of the pro gyms down here. I was at the Killcliff gym where it's professionals only. And I get invited there because I know a lot of the MMA fighters from UFC and other shows. And I was training with Tyrone Spong. And Tyrone is he's knocked out over 100 people. He's like the best kickboxer ever. Look him up. If you don't know the name, look him up. So the he's got 9-time champion, world champion kickboxer 9 times, knocked out over 100 people in fights. I don't need to invent kickboxing. I go in the ring with Tyrone. If Tyrone shows you do it like this, all right, we do it like that. You don't need to argue with this. You feel the difference in the the force generated in your you change your form, you get a better outcome.
Yeah.
If you change your mind, the only people that can be successful in the whole world, you're not going to live long enough to figure it all by yourself. You can't do it all by yourself. So
right.
you're going to have to change your thoughts. You're going to have to get better thoughts from somebody who already paid their dues, that already did the trial and error, that already made some mistakes, that already learned from the smart people before them. And something that I learned training a lot with professional fighters. One of the guys said on here earlier that, Moneyberg, lost some weight, etc.
Yeah, my man
lost over
become like
30
the people you're
pounds.
around. You know what
I
I'm
lost over 30 pounds in the last year. And because a lot of that's
30
just training.
pounds?
Yeah.
That's a lot, bro.
I'm down to a mere 268 now. Only 268.
My man lean in me.
But the point I make, if you're hanging out with guys that are world champion fighters and training with them, when I'm training with my boxing coach, who's 5-time world champion, Paulie Malignaggi, I'm not just learning from him. He'll tell me stories of, Shane Mosley taught me this. Lennox Lewis taught me this. Who did they learn it from? They would learn it from, Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, the guys before them.
Yeah.
So you're learning from champions who learned from champions who learned from champions. If you just go to Bobo's gym, who are you learning from?
Bobo.
You're learning from Bobo.
Come here, son.
And who is Bobo's mentors?
Yeah.
If you go to Bobo's School of Finance, who did Bobo learn from? Because, the school that you mentioned at U Chicago, where I went for graduate school, I spent 9 years in universities, but where I went for graduate school, I learned from Nobel Prize winners. I learned from people that, a couple guys had over $1 billion net worth. There were, clinical professors that made that kind of money in real life. So I learned from billionaire entrepreneurs. I learned from Nobel Prize winners, and I learned from a lot of real world experience myself. So if you learn from those people, then you learn from the people before them. The people before them, there were other winners. And if you're just taking advice from Bobo and family, who did Bobo learn from?
Who knows?
Yeah, success leaves clues, and you don't have to be the FBI to figure that out. You know what I mean? That's just the reality. But a lot of people, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I'll figure this shit out on my own" or whatever, and that's cool. You can always figure shit out on your own. There's nothing wrong with
there's a learning curve
trying to innovate. But there's a reason why they say don't reinvent the wheel. you know, because more than likely someone has done it before you, done it quicker, better, faster.
It's about speed, right? Like how fast do you want to learn, right? I could have tried to learn about the stock market on my own for sure, you know, and you know, I'm intelligent. I can read some shit, and who knows how long it would have taken me though, right?
Yep.
Like, but I can just talk to Moneyberg, who's got a master's degree in economics from the University of Chicago, and someone who's made millions in the stock market. And you know, it's just it speeds up. It's like how long do you want it to fucking take?
Yeah,
you want to make money, you want to get rich fucking now, or you want to fucking wait to get rich? You know what I'm saying? Like how long you want to wait to get this fucking money?
You imagine
man?
You want to buy a Lamborghini.
Yeah.
You spend your whole life, 50 years plus, saving for this Lamborghini.
Yeah.
You pull up to a spot, maybe Chipotle, Chick-fil-A. What's up, girl? Get out here, dad. The point is that like you want to have money when you're young, bro. You don't want to wait, bro.
Yeah.
Like enjoy it now.
Yeah. That's
So-
true.
Yeah, you want to get money as soon as possible. It's really important you get money, and especially the way the economy is going. Like it's not about to get better in the near future, right? You know, so but if you have enough, you need money to protect yourself. Like you need as much money. Like money is really important, bro. Like people act like money is not. They try to demean it. They try to act like money's
It
not
ain't
everything.
You're materialistic.
Right? But like, what if money's not everything? What's more important? You say your health, right? Well, all right, cool. There was a study. The studies that showed that the top 1% live 15 years longer. 15 years longer. That was a study done by Stanford University. The top 1% live 15 years longer. So if health is more important, then fuck, get some money.
Yeah.
Right.
Less stress.
Right. Derek, what did you say? You read a study that just
even $1 million net worth, even one. Which, let's put that in perspective. $1 million is not what it used to be when we were kids.
No, it's not.
No.
It's not.
Because of that inflation we
There's
talked
nothing now.
about.
I made my first million. I realized I'm still poor.
Yeah.
I'm serious, bro. Like I was like, this is not that much money. It really isn't.
I made my first million. I was 29, just after my 29th birthday. I had, real $1 million, real good. And I realized, like, man, I got a lot of work to do.
Taxes too.
What's $1 million today? You can buy a really awesome parking spot in Hong Kong with $1 million. You could buy a studio apartment, like not in Manhattan, like you could buy a studio in Harlem maybe for $1 million. But when you walk outside, is your girl going to be safe outside? Would you wear that jewelry outside of your studio in Harlem? Do you think that would be wise?
Of course not.
I don't think that would be wise. But if you live,
Harlem's going through gentrification, but not that fast, my friends.
so $1 million is not what it used to be. But even $1 million net worth adds 11 years to your life.
Yeah.
Bam.
So this nonsense that money's not everything. Money isn't everything. Only poor people think that.
Yeah, man.
Only poor people. Only extraordinarily dumb.
Stupid.
Only extraordinarily low IQ individuals believe that. Water is not everything. But how long you want to go without it?
Yeah.
Water is not everything. Air, it's not everything.
Oxygen's not everything, right? But
You can hold your breath for a little bit.
Want to have it.
You can hold your
You
breath.
probably want to have it, man.
You know,
It's only an extraordinarily low IQ individual that would prefer poverty over prosperity. That's or even as a joke. Even as a joke. 'Cause if you grew up like some of us did, you wouldn't even joke about that.
Come on, man. Like
prosperity every day.
You know, when you mention you grow up, like the first time I had a gun put in my face, I was 5 years old. You know what I'm saying? Because my mom was walking me to preschool, Southside Chicago, man. You know, like my mom was walking me to preschool. He dude wanted to rob her. He put the gun in her face. She froze up, right? Then you put the gun in my face. Bitch, give me the purse, right? You know, so imagine though, but she was walking me to school because early in the morning because she had to work, right? And then she didn't have a car, so she would drop me off and take the bus. That's why we were walking, right? Because we was broke.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like, you know, I wanted to be in a position where my son wouldn't have to worry about none of that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I read a study from Georgetown University, their department, their education department, that rich kids have a 75% chance of financial success, even if they're stupid, right? But a smart kid or above average intelligence from a poor family only has a 30% chance of financial success.
Wow.
That's Georgetown University, right? So like I wanted to make sure my son not only had the best chances, but he didn't have to worry about living in a neighborhood where they fucking robbing toddlers at gunpoint and shit.
And think about this for a second. You're 40 now.
Yeah.
You remember something that happened to you 35 years ago.
I remember that shit like
and here's the thing, like I've noticed that like trauma for a man, right? It either makes you or breaks you, right? Luckily, you're one of the 1% that was able to overcome that.
It's like
and
a
you
superhero origin story.
Exactly.
Like,
and you were able to use it to your advantage as like a motivation factor. But let's be honest, how many guys have been through that same experience that are now doing the same thing themselves and perpetuating that criminal activity, and they're in prison right now.
They out here
You
robbing
read the
toddlers now.
circumstances, but
Professor X, he made it out.
Yeah, I'm telling you,
He
man,
made
it's
it
like
out.
a superhero origin story.
Yeah.
Money man,
but that is so like I don't think I want the audience
baller man.
I want the audience to like understand like the profoundness of this, like they talk about the butterfly effect or whatever it may be. Like other people would have like taken an L from having that gun put in their face, living in the South Side of Chicago. So many excuses to be a failure, right?
Yeah.
You didn't let that happen to you, but had your parents maybe made a little bit more money, had a car,
no, for sure.
you wouldn't have been through that. You wouldn't have went through that, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think people understand like the importance of you're not necessarily making the money just for yourself, guys. You're making the money for the people in your future, for your legacy, because that's going to significantly increase their quality of life. You increase their quality of life, the chance of them living longer, not being criminals, not being degenerates, etc. If you guys look at, we talk about on this podcast, single motherhood is one of the biggest contributors to failed society. Well, why is that? Well, because single mothers typically don't earn enough resources to take care of themselves and their offspring. Hence, kids lead to deviant activity.
It's one income,
and
you know what I'm saying? It's one income, right? So it's like if you just want to have your kids to be in the best position to succeed, and the only way to do that is get
serious
fucking
shit, man.
money, man.
Yeah, it's serious.
God wants you to get money, man.
Yeah,
God wants you to get money, man.
So-
Seriously, man. No. The Lord wants you to get money.
the Lord.
Yeah. It's in the Bible. All right.
It's your duty. Ephesians.
Ecclesiastes.
There you go.
Right?
Yeah.
10:19. Money answers all things. Look it up. It's in the Bible. That was God saying that.
Damn.
That was the Lord. The Lord wants you to get rich out here.
Wait, did he really say that?
Yeah, man. Ecclesiastes.
I did some interviews down here yesterday. I did some interviews, and one of the UFC guys, great guy. Check out my channel if you want to see the interview. But he
link below, guys.
He was saying that he had a tough life, one of these rough childhoods, had a lot of abuse in his childhood, had that led to some drug problems, some other problems in his life, and he said he found God. And we were talking about that. He was talking about that primarily, and he's saying that how Jesus helped him, God helped him, religion helped him turn it around a bit. And I thought, we were talking about prosperity though, or success, and I said, I've never been a religious person, but I don't think the any God that might be is going to be highly rewarding some dumb, lazy motherfuckers with like the best place in heaven is not reserved for some dumb, lazy motherfucker that won't even invest in his own future or try to make a better circumstance for himself. I just don't believe that's true.
The Lord don't want you to be poor.
Facts.
Proverbs. I'm sorry, brother Mike.
Please go ahead.
Proverbs 4:10. The Lord said, hold on now. The Lord, Pastor, preaching here, boy. The Lord said, the slack hand becomes poor. Becomes poor. Preach. But the hand of the diligent makes rich. Can I get an amen, bro?
Amen.
Proverbs 10:4. That was the Lord. That was the Lord.
Dr. Marco for that one.
Y'all need to get saved.
Welcome to the Church of Gains, motherfuckers.
Y'all need to get saved. Jesus wants y'all to ball out here.
Yeah.
Jesus wants you to ball on these hoes.
Yeah, that's facts. And
Flex on these haters. Come on now.
And the other thing too, I mean, we have a mostly male audience. I'll keep it 1,000 with y'all. A lot of you guys are fucking broke. You don't have $1,000 in your savings account. You can't cover a $500 bill. Barely making car note payments. We were doing an interview before. 70% of cars out there that are leased are having some kind of monthly payment are in default for at least a month or behind a month. Like it's unacceptable for you to be broke as a man. Like I say this all the time. I'll say it one more time. It's a fucking Money Monday. The only people that are allowed the privilege of being broke are fucking women, not men. A girl can get saved by some millionaire if she's bad enough. You ain't getting saved, motherfucker.
Myron, once again.
Yeah.
If I give you $100 and you have debt, $200, how much money do you have?
I think negative 100.
Thank you. Most of y'all niggas out here are broke, bro. And you're in debt. So that's a double L.
Yeah.
The Lord made all these resources for us, man. The seas and the mountains, right? The land and the water.
The bitches.
The niggas and the bitches. He did all that. He put all this prosperity before you, and you can't rub together a few $1,000s. Boy, you're disrespecting the Lord.
A few shekels?
You're disrespecting the Lord.
What's wrong with you, man?
Come on now. The hand of the diligent makes rich. All right, Proverbs 10:4. So breed it up, man.
So Derek,
God wants you to be rich.
The hand of the
Brandon.
lazy makes bitch.
Yep.
And I want to say for all people out there, because people always criticize you, Brandon, like, oh, money's not everything. Money's not everything. Money doesn't buy happiness. I'll say this, man. Money doesn't buy happiness. You know what? I'll take for those idiots. I'll speak their language for them.
Yeah.
Money doesn't buy happiness, ass clowns, but it's a damn good down payment.
Yeah.
All right.
Listen, man. There was a study done by the University of Pennsylvania where they actually, even after $70,000, $75,000, because they thought that was the threshold. All right. But the new study came out, University of Pennsylvania, that you do get happier. The more money
Look
you
at that. Empirical evidence for y'all.
Like there was actually no limit to how much happier it makes you. Right.
Yeah.
When y'all seen me sad.
but you know what's funny?
Y'all ain't seen me sad in years now.
But you know what's funny? They've convinced more people to say, you know what? Being rich means you're going to be an asshole. You're going to be unhappy. Look at all the celebrities that killed themselves. It's like, bro, that's a small minority of people that did that.
Yeah.
And as well, everyone I know that has money, bro, is traveling, getting lit, having fun. And guess what? Investing in themselves and their families.
It's the fame that be depressing them, not the money.
Yes.
Guys. Don't conflate the fame and status with the money. There's two different things.
Yeah. MIT, the MIT did a study, right? And they said that the more money you make, actually statistically, you have less depression. I mean, it fucking makes sense, right? You're not worried about less depression, less anxiety.
People always want to use celebrities for that bullshit.
That's because that's what the headlines.
The example,
right? They don't talk about Warren Buffett, who doesn't do drugs and shit. Yeah. He's happy as shit, right? It's only the unhappy people they make headlines, right? Because they do wild shit. But like, there's people
also,
with money, right? There's a good amount of people with money. Some of them are going to be fucking crazy, but on average, you're more likely to have mental issues, according to the MIT. Right, you're more likely to have mental issues if you're poor, and it makes a lot of sense because you have a lot of trauma and you go through a lot of shit.
The problem is, if you got bad habits when you're poor, it only magnifies when you're rich because you can afford them. So that's the problem. So fix your habits first, then with the money you'll be happier.
And not only that, people love to use celebrities and exceptions to the rule, like, oh, well, this celebrity killed himself. Look at him. Money didn't buy happiness for him, blah, blah, blah. But you don't realize that there's probably 100,000 other millionaires where they're not necessarily in that situation.
Yeah.
A lot of these celebrities, they cave in and do things to themselves, not off of the money, but the status themselves. And they want to, and I'll take it a step further. The reason why the media, glorifies this shit like Robin Williams when he killed himself, right?
Yeah.
Rest in peace to him. They glorify that shit because, let's be honest, the average person is broke. They look at a rich person, kill themselves and say, oh, well, look, see, money isn't the root. Look at that. Money isn't everything.
Yeah.
And they'll use that shit and they'll hang on to it because it allows them to go ahead and bask in their own mediocrity because they can sit there and say, yo, this guy's rich. He killed himself. So money isn't everything. It's like, no, you fucking idiot. You don't realize that there was probably other factors that made him do that. But that does not still change the fact that money is universally a large contributor to your ability to enjoy a certain quality of life. I mean, hell, you just named a bunch of statistics from Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT.
Come on, man.
Right? Which is a very prestigious school. So, I mean, man,
brother Myron,
people are stupid out here, bro.
Stupid.
You can't be broke, guys.
So for the chat here, Brandon and Derek, where can they go to make more money? Also, where can they find y'all?
If you're serious, it's not for everybody.
It's not for everybody.
But if you're serious about having more financial prosperity, to learn more, to learn how to earn more, I have a program called the 10 Commandments of Wealth. I've been on here a couple times before. Had literally hundreds of people in your audience have been on that program,
and they've been killing it.
Gone through it, and they are. And I'm sure you got great feedback to say so. And I also have a stock course coming up for those specifically interested in stocks. My Markets Mastery course starts on November 30th. That's live. That's 10 weeks live, us together. There's training modules that you do online. There's things that I show up every Wednesday. We show up for hours. We do a 4-hour call every Wednesday with those clients.
Oh shit!
To talk any question they have, anything that wasn't clear from the homework, from the instructions. You're going to work in there. That's not for lazy people. What happened to lazy people stay bitch and rich people?
Proverbs 10:4.
You said that already.
What is brothers? He asked me, man.
The lazy hand stays bitch.
If you have a slack hand, you'll be poor. But if you're diligent, brother, you'll be rich. That's Proverbs, brother. That ain't me. That ain't me. That's the Lord, brother. I'm just a vessel.
That is somewhere in there. But
take it from Reverend Carter.
Not 10-4 though. It's somewhere in there though. Somewhere in there.
Take it from Reverend Carter. The diligent hand gets bitch, and the lazy hand stays bitch.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the Moneyberg translation.
It's part of God's plan.
It's God's plan.
Click that link if you're serious. You want some help? I'm happy to help you.
Some chats here, and then
nice to Brandon, amazing SDS trade, fire. nuggets to we'll go 20 and up, Chris. What's up, guys? Waiting for the official recession and for diesel trucks to drop, but in the meantime, I have a question. Where should I have my savings until I purchase the truck? I'll turn it to y'all. What do you guys think?
Savings.
Where should he have his money savings until he buys the truck?
You got money sitting in a bank account. It's losing value every day. They're not paying you no interest.
That's facts, bro.
They're not paying you no interest. So I don't like a lot of cash, man. I have a few $100,000 in cash. I got tens of millions in investments.
Yeah.
And I don't like to have a lot of cash. I like to have cash around for, whatever I need. Plenty to pay the bills and everything's good. But when I get larger chunks of money, I buy a little more stock, whatever's on sale that month, whatever I like. But you can't do that if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
If you don't understand that trinity of wealth, that you guys know a lot about entrepreneurship. You've gone through the trouble to learn a lot more about real estate.
Yeah.
You need to know about stock market too. You can't just buy shit. Can they just go buy a house randomly and it's going to be a good deal?
No.
You can't buy a random house, and you sure can't buy a random stock either. You got to know what you're doing. I'll help you if you're serious, but you got to know what you're doing.
I sell covered calls. I use like the money I would have savings, sell covered calls. I mean, not covered calls, to sell cash secure puts. And that way I'm making money off my motherfucking savings. And potentially ended up with a stock I like, right? Depending on if it goes down, if it goes there. And then if I get a sign, if I end up with the stock, then I sell covered calls against it. And so I put that money to work, baby.
Yeah,
you gotta put that money to work.
Facts.
That's fire.
And I just for practical advice, I don't think you should have maybe 6 months to a year of like cash fiat currency available to you.
Just in case.
God forbid something happen to you, right?
Yeah.
And you can cover bills and expenses. But bro, anything over that, quite frankly, you're fucking stupid, right? To have that money sitting in a bank account, because just like Derek said, inflation is eating it away, and then the more money you have in there, the more purchasing power it's losing. I got 100,000. I know people, they got like 50K sitting in the bank, and it's like, how much do you need to live for like 6 months a year?
Yeah.
I only need like 20. What the fuck are you doing with the other 30?
That's a fact.
Invest it.
I'll do you one better, Myron. Like, yo, if let's say you had no cash, right? You can just get a loan against your real estate.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And you don't pay taxes on that on a loan, right?
Yep. I could do a cash out refi.
Yeah. Or you can get a loan against your stocks.
Yeah,
right.
That's true.
Like you can get a loan against your stocks. So if there's an emergency, take a loan against those assets, right? Get back on your feet, hustle up some more money, because you can't sit around being broke, and then you can't let your money, your savings get stolen away from you by inflation. It's robbing you. You know.
Not only that. You guys want to know how much you can pimp? The banks are taking that fucking money that you have sitting there, and they're going ahead and they're giving out to other people. They're giving loans to other people so that they can go and buy. Yeah, they're loaning it to me, exactly. So that I can go buy a house and make 20% cash on cash returns while your dumbass loses, thousands of dollars in value.
No, you know what?
I mean?
Keep it in the bank.
Keep it in the bank. Right?
We'll take it.
Guys like us, literally, like we make money off the banks because we understand that the banks are making money. Fuck that shit. I'm not letting you guys just sit there on my fiat currency and lend it out and make 5-10% interest on it. No, I'd rather take that myself, invest and take their money from some other idiot that put it in their savings account, invest it into an asset that pays me back 10, 20, 30, 40%.
Talking big money talk today, man.
You know what I mean?
Like, we're making the Lord proud.
Anything over 6 months to a year in cash, guys, in a bank account, quite frankly, you're a fucking moron. Especially with the way inflation is going, it's going to continue to get worse. The dollar is going to continue to go down.
0.01%.
Bro.
All right.
Wow.
Crypto cat.
Last two.
Okay. Another question. Wife wants to know, since she's a stay-at-home mom and to be financial secure, just in case I die, LOL, is there anything other than life insurance we should be pursuing?
Real estate.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't have no life insurance because I'm fucking rich.
I like that. That's the quote of the night.
I don't mean to say it in a shitty way, but if you had enough net worth, the last thing you'd buy is life insurance.
Facts.
So if you're concerned about your children and the aftermath of your passing, if you're concerned about your children, maybe you should learn how to enhance your income. If you knew better, you'd do better, and if you did better, you'd have better. If you implemented that knowledge, you'd have better.
I like that one, bro.
Yeah.
Life insurance. Nigga, fuck that, I'm rich.
Yeah, I'll tell you this real quick though. But the rich people that do have life insurance, you guys would know what they do. They use it as a savings account.
It's
actually I'll give you a little bit of.
That's smart.
That's
a cheat code.
Well, to be real, that's what the white folks do.
Yeah, like the really smart people that really got money, they don't use life insurance because they're gonna die and they leave that. No, fuck no. They use it as a savings account because they're able to borrow against it with almost no penalty, and they use that shit to buy more assets, guys.
Yeah,
and you don't pay taxes on loans.
Bam. There's some game for y'all. That's what the really rich people do. They got trust funds and shit that have trust. That's what they're using life insurance. Only poor people use life insurance to sit there and be like, if I die, I'll leave some money for my family. You fucked up if you're at that point. You should be having some type of asset that will pay them back dividends.
Before you know it, your wife is like, you know what? Life insurance, if he dies, poison in the food.
Yeah,
She
that's why
gone,
she
nigga.
killing you, nigga. Like, goddamn, the wife killing you and shit like that to get money. But like, what are you
Wow.
doing?
Yeah.
Cat.
Yeah. You basically paying her to kill you.
Every month.
She's gonna assassinate you, man, in no time.
Cuban divorce.
Ayo, caught the right show tonight. Brandon Carter, Mr. Moneybags. Get them damn likes up. Yeah, man, giving you a lot of game right now, man.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: we just scratched the surface. You guys know we're limited on time here, guys.
There's a lot more.
10 Commandments of Wealth,
Yeah.
man. Get in there. They break this down on a molecular level,
Come
man,
on, man.
and walk you guys
Go
through
support them. Go support us as well.
it. Yeah,
Word, yo. And
click that damn link.
one
guys.
more thing.
Yeah, please.
Yo, man, I started live streaming this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Wednesday at 7. I'm gonna ask you. Y'all gotta tell me which day y'all not on, so I don't compete with y'all because y'all my brothers. What day do y'all not do?
Tuesdays, Thursdays.
I'm gonna move it to one of those days right now. Right now we're on the 7.
It's all good, man. We don't mind. We don't
You know
fight
what I'm
over time slots.
Yeah,
But,
it's all good, bro.
it's pimping. It's called Victory Talk. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's good.
Fuck
I've
with
actually
it.
listened to it.
Fuck with it.
I
Yo,
listen to it, guys.
But if you want to get this money, it's 2 things you need to do. 1, Ecclesiastes and titties. All right. 10:19. Money. Money solves all problems. That's the Lord said that. The Lord said that. Ecclesiastes and titties. 10:19. All right. And if you want to learn how to get that money to solve the problems, you need the 10 Commandments of Wealth, man.
You do, guys.
You know what I'm saying? Jesus wants you to get it.
I'm gonna pray
The
for
Lord
you.
wants you
Right
to
now,
get it.
I'm gonna pray for you, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna say a prayer for you.
We'll be back with some lovely ladies, guys. We're gonna have them on the panel as well, man. So we'll talk a little bit more money, talk about dating and relationships, etc. So yeah, man, we'll catch you guys back here in a little bit.
Peace.
Peace.
I ran so far.